Two of the broadest pillars of 21st century life are the cell phone and the internet. Without them, life as we know it would not be. And without Trinidadian computer scientist Patrick Hosein, both these technologies might have evolved considerably differently.
Have you ever considered what happens when you enter an address in a browser? What happens in the background? There's so much that is going on. And this is a very technical environment, an environment where not very many people actually can understand. And that is the space in which Patrick operates.
In fact, if there is one person who could be said to have brought the internet to Trinidad and Tobago, it is Professor Hosein, a National Scholarship winner. On returning from the Massachusetts Institutes of Technology in 1991, he brought the still arcane technology to the University of the West Indies and later to Trinidad and Tobago.
Much of my focus during those early years on my return was on getting internet access for the university. And eventually I was able to get internet at a very primitive level, but it allowed students in the Computer Science Center to access the internet and to actually see what's available out there.
During the early 90s, he played a key role in enabling TSTT to become our first internet service provider, working with colleagues and students at the university and with IBM on software that allowed the TSTT to introduce internet services to local customers.
But Professor Hosein did not stay at UWI for long. He returned to the US for 15 years to work with internet service providers, and he became involved in another emerging field, cellular communications.
The wireless communications was finally starting to take off, and I knew that there was a great future in that area. So although it was not my main area, I decided I wanted to start working in that area because most of the techniques I used for wireless communications were the same techniques I would have used in telecommunication networks.
Those 15 years were extraordinarily productive. He worked for Ericsson, AT&T and Huawei with great distinction.
He has over 38 patents in the field of communication systems. 42 patents are pending. More than half the patents are sole patents.
From Ericsson, I started off working on what was called 2G in those days, and then I transitioned into 3G, 4G, and finally 5G.
After such a career, some people might be content to rest on their laurels.
But I felt it was time to return to Trinidad and try to develop ICT in Trinidad. And so at that point, I contacted both the electrical engineering department and computer science, and I got offers from both.
Professor Hosein's first task was to revamp and modernize the department he met, and he developed a new MSc program in computer science with specialization in mobile computing and cloud technologies. His objective, though, is more ambitious than creating a new program.
We hear a lot of talk about innovation and this is innovative, etc. But a lot of the things we do tend to be duplication of what is already available elsewhere.
In addition to his academic work, he manages the .tt domain and is interested in the forward-reaching areas of network neutrality and open data.
So open data is really meant to be a catalyst for development of apps because to have good apps, you need to have good data sets, data sources.
Open data includes everything from agricultural data to maps, which are key for app development, a burgeoning area for entrepreneurs.
I can't think of anyone who is comparable to Patrick. The combination of his intellect, his drive, his spirit, his insights, and his will. There is no one. I can't put my finger on anyone else.
For his achievements in cutting-edge technologies global in scope and his determination to implant them in his home country, Professor Patrick Hosein is the Anthony N. Sabga Caribbean Awards for Excellence Joint Laureate in Science and Technology for 2015.